Hello and welcome to Angela's Busy Bees Garden and Homestead. And guys, today I'm going through what I call my market garden. Last night we were under a tornado warning and we received so much rain. But prior to last night's rain, it has been so dry. The sun has been so intense, and a lot of my vegetables have been starting to burn. Even though I've been trying to water just about every morning, but by 10 a.m. it is scorching hot, and the soil will look as though I have not even watered. But as you can see here, I have 5 containers of banana peppers, and I started harvesting this morning and realized that I needed to take you guys along with me. And so, as you can see here, I have several banana peppers that I can take off the plant here. The banana peppers have been doing really well. I transplanted some okra in this bed, and as I see here, one of them, as even though it's so little, has put on a beautiful cucumber, so I'm going to take it as well. Um, Over here is my Swiss chard, and it's been eaten up by bugs, so I think I'm going to pull this out today and re-sow some more seeds. The kale is doing well, but as you can see here with the Swiss chard, I don't think there's any way that I can save this, even though it grows from the middle. I might try to just cut it back and see and spray it, and spray it with some BT and see if the center will come out before I pull this all up. But Swiss chard is one of those leafy vegetables that can withstand the heat, and so I will definitely be growing these again. In these containers I have some peppers, and I sowed some seeds for some more gourmet lettuce, and as you can see, it's coming up beautifully. Over here I have a few herbs and lima beans, and the bag said that they were bush lima beans, but as you can see, they are trying to trellis or attach itself to something, but I'll see how this goes. Over here I have more kale and collards, and as I've stated, a lot of things are being eaten by bugs. But I know I can spray this and cut back the leaves, and it'll spring forth new leaves of collard greens. Over here is where I had my white pine strawberries. They didn't do very well, but I do see that they're spreading in this bed. And also, I have some volunteer tomatoes because I use a lot of my kitchen scraps, my vegetable and fruit, eggshells, coffee grounds in this bed, and I'm thinking there might have been some tomatoes because the seeds germinated in this bed. So I'm just going to let it do what it does and see what happens. I've got cucumbers coming up along this trellis, and these are the pickling cucumbers. This is a tomato bush that's dying back. More cucumbers, more tomatoes that are dying back, and I have several that have ripened that I need to take off of the vine. And right over here, you'll see where my cherry 100s, they're still hanging in there, they're still putting on. So I'm going to get a few more of these um, before I leave the garden today. But to move forward, here is another bed of collard greens, and there are also some onions in here, the onion sets I planted in the spring. On this side I have my asparagus bed, and I have thrown in some sugar baby watermelon seeds in here, and as you can see, they are coming up. And this is a full sun area, and where I planted my other watermelons and cantaloupes, it's part sun, part shade. So I'm going to see how these do in the full sun. Here I have some okra, onions in this bed, eggplant, and more peppers. On this side, I have my broccoli that I have yet this year to get a nice head of broccoli. And in previous years, I have done really well with broccoli. I've transplanted twice, once in March, and I think another time again in May or June. And even with the second planting, it's not doing very well. But I have broccoli in here, onions, and I threw in a couple of cucumber plants in here as well. And they have not done anything just yet. Here is a volunteer tomato. I have a fig tree here. And there's my peach tree. I've got about 3, 4, 5 peaches still trying to hang on. In this bed, I have okra, eggplant, peppers, and a few onions. And these are young transplants because in the spring I sowed so many seeds, and even though I sowed quite a bit of them, I still had a lot left, and so I'm just placing them in these raised beds and hoping for the best, and hopefully they'll have enough time to develop and produce food before our winter sets in, which is usually around late October. In containers over here, I have habanero pepper and 2, what are these peppers? Oh, serrano chili peppers. This is my herb bed, and I also have a rose bush in here, black-eyed Susans, oregano, thyme, rosemary, sage, all in here, parsley, and I need to do a big herb harvest so that they will continue to grow, because the more you cut these, the more they grow. And when you don't cut them, that causes them to go on and flower. And so I really need to cut them back. Over here is my new, my second planting of corn. And as you can see, they're doing well. This is my second planting of green beans, and they were really suffering from the heat. So I was really grateful for the rain that we received last night, even though it was under a tornado watch. Over here in these pots are more potatoes. There's okra on this side and okra on this side. And guys, I have done a comparison of planting okra in raised beds or pots to planting them in the ground, and I'm telling you, when they are in the ground, they are really able to set those roots down, and their trunk is so much thicker, and the plant appears to be so much healthier than the ones I have planted in containers or in raised beds. And as you can see, I've got more okra that I need to harvest. There are about 4 on this side, and 1, 2, 4 on this side as well. And they are all producing, and I'm able to come out every day, if not every other day, and harvest more of this okra. In these pots are my potatoes. This is the second planting of potatoes, and as you can see, one of them has already come out of the soil. So if you ever question whether if you just fill up your container or bucket all at once instead of healing over time, they still will come up and still will grow. So just thought I'd share that with you. More black-eyed Susans. Guys, because of the heat, my spearmint died back, but as you can see, it's still coming back. So one thing about spearmint, it is very difficult to kill. Over here in this container, I have more of the serrano chili peppers. And oh my goodness, I better get this zucchini. Did you look at that? This is super huge. And over here are the rest of my squash. And as you can see, they have died back. The squash vine borer, of course, was on attack, which, you know, I should expect this every year. I have the most difficulty in growing squash. Over here is where I had my field peas, and it's time to pull them up and replant. Here's one. I've been harvesting these also just about every day. They need to be pulled up. Over here in this corner, you see I have my sweet potatoes, and they are vining quite nicely. Tomatoes, of course, are dying back due to the heat. There's tomatoes here, tomatoes here. Okay, some of these over here I can go on and take now. Oops. Okay, more tomatoes here and here. My hands are getting full, so I'll have to come back. But guys, also I want to share with you, look at my loofah, and they are flowering. Oh, I see a loofah. Yay! At least I've got one coming along, if the deer don't get it. That is absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, guys, the grass is trying to take over. This is going to be a major project in getting this grass out, and I may have to use some grass and weed killer to help me, and then I'll go back and maybe cover it with some more cardboard and put down wood chips, and thank goodness there's still plenty of wood chips left to do that. And here I have my sweet potatoes. This year lettuce, not lettuce, but celery did not do well for me. This whole bin was full of celery, and as I stated, you know, the heat was a bit too much for it. And then as you can see here, grass is taking over these beds in the back. But I plan to add carrots, beets, radishes, and maybe some lettuce in each of these bins as it gets cooler. And as you can see here, my grapes are ripening. I've been noticing the birds trying to have at it, but I'm going to come back, and with the way they ripen, they all don't ripen all at once, and so you can't wait until they're all ripe to harvest. You have to go on and get the ripe ones, and then allow the ones that are not ripe to stay on the vine just a little longer. But if I don't get them, the birds will. But even still, I think there's enough that I can share with the birds. Here are my black beans. I'm going to pull these out and harvest off of it, and do another planting of other vegetables, probably more peas, because I usually can get about two crops of peas in 1 year. Okay, and so this is what I call my market garden. I'm going to go on now and harvest some more of the okra here, and come back and show you what I've been able to harvest today. But so far, you see I have tomatoes, zucchini, some bell peppers, serrano chili peppers, and what have you. But just wanted to come on and give you a tour of what my garden looks like on August 1 of 2021, and let you see how, you know, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, that grass, you can expect it, but thank God it's not what it used to be when I did all in-ground gardening. And so definitely the raised beds has, you know, really helped me in maintaining my garden a little bit better. Thank you so much. I'll come back and show you what the total harvest looks like for the day. And here, guys, is my harvest of the day, Sunday, August 1st, of 2021. And I will be harvesting from the other garden probably tomorrow. And I'll share that harvest with you as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as always, if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future videos. God bless. Bye-bye.